Hello everyone, in today's video is about forget-me-not flower and the story where the flower get the name from. A story of love, memory, and a little blue blossom that refuse to fade. There are flowers whose names feel like whispers as they were left behind, a lover's sigh, a prayer, or a tear sliding down the cheek. Among them, few are as tender, as haunting as the forget-me-not. These tiny blooms, painted in delicate shades of blue with sunny yellow hearts, carry a name that seems less like botany and more like plea. Don't let me fade from your memory. How did such a small, humble flower inherit such a large, eternal name? The answer lies in the folds of both history and legend, where truth mingles with romance, and flowers become a living symbols of the human heart. The legend behind the name. One of the most cherished stories originates from medieval Europe, a time when knights rode in shining armor and courtly love was celebrated in the pages of illuminated manuscripts. It is said that a young knight, newly in love, was walking with his beloved along the banks of a river. The two wandered close to the edge, where the wild flowers sway in the breeze. The knight noticed a cluster of delicate blue flowers at the water's edge and leaned down to gather them for her. But the soil was soft and loose, and as he reached, his armor's weight shifted. He lost his balance and tumbled into the rushing river. The current was swift, the weight of his armor dragging him down, yet even as he struggled, he clutched with his flowers in his hand. Before the river claimed him, he threw the bouquet toward his beloved and cried out, "Forget me not!" She caught the flowers, tears flooding her sight, and from that day onward she wore them close to her heart. People who heard her story began to call the little blue blooms forget-me-nots, not as the botanical term at first, but as a living memorial to love, loyalty, and bittersweet ache of remembrance. Other stories across cultures, why the knight's tale is the most famous. Other versions bloom in the different corners of the world. In German folklore, the flower is called Vergismännich, and it appears in fairy tales where lovers are parted by fate but reunited through a token of blue petals. In English tradition, some say the flower sprang from the tears of Mary, the mother of Jesus, as she wept at the foot of the cross, a symbol that love can endure beyond death itself. In romantic poetry, forget-me-nots often appear as messengers of loving, of longing, carried between separated lovers and placed at graves to promise eternal memory. Regardless of the origin, one theme always blooms the same: love that refuses to be erased. A portrait of the flower. To see a forget-me-not in real life is to understand that beauty need not be loud or extravagant. These are not flowers that tower or boast. Instead, they invite you to notice, to cherish. Each blossom is no larger than a fingernail, yet its 5 petals are arranged with perfect symmetry, forming a gentle star. Their shade of blue is soft but luminous, like a sky just before sunset, with a tiny yellow center that glows as if a drop of sunlight got trapped inside. Some varieties lean toward pink or purple, and often a single stem will hold a mix of these shades, a quiet celebration of diversity in unity. Forget-me-nots grow in clusters, creating a cloud-like strip of color when planted en masse. They don't shout for attention, but if you pause and truly look, they give the impression that a little galaxy blooming close to the earth. Each flower a reminder of the infinity of affection. The meaning and symbolism over centuries, forget-me-nots have gathered layers of meanings. First, true love and loyalty. Because of their romantic legends, they became a symbol for lovers who stay faithful even when apart or when one has passed away. Remembrance. They are often worn or planted to honor someone who has died, especially in memorial gardens. Their name itself is a vow: I will keep you in my heart. Friendship and connection beyond romance, forget-me-nots speak to enduring friendship, bonds that remain no matter the distance or silence between two people. Humility and modesty. Their small sigh reminds us that even the humblest lives can have a lasting impact. They are proof that beauty does not need grandeur. Because of these meanings, they often appear at funerals, anniversaries, or part of charity movements. In some countries, the forget-me-not is one to raise awareness for causes like Alzheimer's disease, where the battle is literally against forgetting. How do you grow and care for forget-me-nots? Despite their poetic fragility, forget-me-nots are surprisingly easy to grow. They are not divas, more like gentle companions that flourish when given a little care. Choosing the right spot, light, they thrive in partial shade, though they can handle full sun in cooler climates. Too much harsh sunlight can fade their colors. Soil, moist, well-drained soil is ideal. They like soil that's rich in organic matter but not soggy. Planting from seed, you can sow them directly outdoor in late spring or early summer for blooms the next year. Spacing keep about 6 inches between the plants as they like to spread naturally. Watering, keep the soil consistently moist, especially during dry periods. Their delicate roots appreciate even moisture, but avoid waterlogging. Feeding, a light application of balanced fertilizer in spring helps encourage lush growth and abundant blooms. They are not heavy feeders. Maintenance, that had spent flowers to extend the blooming season. If you allow some flowers to go to seed, they will self-sow and return year after year, often in delightful, unexpected corners of your garden. Overwintering in colder climates, forget-me-nots often act as biennials. They sprout one year, bloom the next, then scatter seeds for the following season. A light mulch can keep them survive harsh winters. The flower for all seasons of the heart. In the garden, forget-me-nots often act as a gentle bridge between spring's exuberant tulips and borders color of summer. They quiet fill the spaces between bigger flowers, softening edges and adding an almost magical haze of blue. But beyond their role in garden design, their real gift is emotional. Planting forget-me-nots is like planting memories, small, beautiful, and lasting. They come back without fanfare, as if to say, I'm still here. I haven't forgotten you. Why the name endures? Names can change, but the name Forget-Me-Not has lasted for centuries because it speaks of something deeply human. We all fear being forgotten. We all carry memories we want to keep alive in the world that moves quickly, where people come and go. A little flower stands as a living reminder to pause, remember, and honor. Even now, long after medieval nights and riverbank tragedies, people give forget-me-nots as farewells, pin them to coats at memorials, and plant them in the gardens for those they love. Their name is not just a label, it is a promise. A closing reflection. When you next see a cluster of forget-me-nots, resist the urge to rush by. Lean closer. Notice the softness of their blue, the warmth of their yellow hearts, the way they gather in quiet company. Think of the lovers who once parted as a riverbank, of mothers who wept over graves, of friends who planted these blooms to mark the place where laughter once lived. And if you plant them yourself, tend them with care, water them, protect them, and let them grow where they please. Because one day, perhaps years from now, when you see their familiar color in a forgotten corner of your yard, you will remember, and in that moment, someone you once loved will live again in your heart. The forget-me-not is more than a flower. It is a living message. Love once given is never truly lost.